Why on earth are we talking about movies during our Sunday morning worship gathering? Well, because it's summertime, and with vacations and summer schedules, people come and go. And if you miss a particular message, you won't miss out on the whole series. It gives me a chance to deal with topics like the existence of evil, human dignity, those kinds of things that are not necessarily available in a particular passage. And movies are one of the things that people talk about during the summertime. So let me focus on that last one for just a moment. As we talk about being part of the Blue Ocean Fellowship, who are focused on reaching our neighbors in Southern California on hot summer days, people either go to the beach or they go to the movies to get in the air conditioning. Movies are the language of philosophy and theology of our culture. Movies ask questions that are prevalent in culture, and more often than not, they try to tell us what we're supposed to think about those questions. Yes, movies have messages. The writers and the producers in Hollywood have become the philosophers and the Pied Pipers of our culture. And people watch shows like Jon Stewart's and Trevor Noah's as if they are real news programs. Movies.com says life is boring without contemplating life, and movies are boring without contemplating movies. They want you to think. The artist Edward Degas said, "Art is not what you see, but what you make others see." John Krasinski, the star and director of A Quiet Place, said the best compliment you can get on any movie is that it starts a conversation. The fact that people are leaving and talking about anything is really fun, but certainly about deep stuff like that is awesome. Neil Blomkamp, director and writer, said, if there isn't a deep core reason for a film existing, what's the point? As a creator, his desire is for you to think. The writer C.S. Lewis said, I suspect that men have sometimes derived more spiritual sustenance from the myths that they did not believe, like the movies in our time, than from the religion that they professed. Ouch. But what if we could get people to use movies and myths to inspire spiritual curiosity? What if we could change the direction of the conversation from spiritual effects, or from special effects to spiritual effects? Missionaries to a foreign culture often study the culture for years, the language, all of the things about it before they begin to do their work. If we want to impact this culture as followers of Jesus, it behooves us to be students of culture and to understand the language so that we can begin to engage the culture for the kingdom of God. We need to be like the men of Issachar who 1 Chronicles chapter 12 tells us understood the times and knew what Israel should do. It's important to understand that conversations that the world is having around us, if we ever hope to participate in culture. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16, Jesus said, I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and innocent as doves. So I have a couple ground rules as we begin this conversation. One is there's no spoilers. I'm not going to tell you any more than you would see if you were watching a trailer or if you were reading a newspaper or something like that. The second thing is I'm not making stuff up. I've actually gone out and done research, and I found out that this is actually what the writers, the producers, and the actors want you to get from this movie. And we're going to talk about the biblical response to those things as we do. And the third thing, and this is very important, is that just because we're talking about this movie doesn't necessarily mean that it's a recommendation. There's lots of topics that movies bring up that culture is talking about that are not necessarily things that I recommend that you go see. So you need to know your family and you need to know the ratings. With that being said, you need to grab some popcorn and get ready to watch a movie.